What is up, everybody? Keith, aka Gator Guy 231, across the DFS industry. It is Sunday, August 2nd. We have a 6-game NBA slate, and man, this is a juicy one. There are studs galore. We have Giannis, we have Harden, we have Westrbook, we have Doncic, and all of them are in games of insane totals. There's tons of studs right under them that you can pivot off of that will be at low ownership. Just a great slate. We're going to jump right into the picks. Just a quick reminder, bottom right of your screen is our subscribe button. Please hit it. Really helps us get all the content that we're putting on the channel for free for you guys. That your subscription to our YouTube channel helps more than you know. So thank you in advance for doing so. If you're interested in premium content, our link to the site to get into our premium Discord is at the bottom. Use promo code FSINBA for 25% off. All right, let's jump into the games. One little thing, if you've been watching these, I'm going to do differently. I'm only putting the players in only giving you the picks in my player pool, just to kind of shorten this up, get right into the big, right into all the games so we're not here too long. Washington and Brooklyn. Brooklyn is a 2.5 point favorite, 235 total. Let's start on the Brooklyn side of things. Chris LeVert let a ton of people down versus Magic. It's funny, Zach, who works on all of the NBA with me and him were chatting beforehand, and we started getting really hesitations on LeVert with the likes of Isaac, with the likes of Awundu, and even Aaron Gordon, the Magic going to throw at him. And then Awundu and Isaac are out. Isaac wasn't starting. Awundu was out. And we started thinking that, there's a little bit better line. We should have stuck with that gut. LeVert let down, huge chalk bust. I think this is a great spot to go back to versus Washington. Those defenders are not there. Washington plays at big pace. This is just a game where the team not that great. So a talent like LeVert could really rise to the crop. He got a price drop to 7,800. In 28 minutes versus Magic, still took 17 shots. So if you take that to 32, 33 minutes at a better pace here, you could be looking at 20, 25 shots. So I think for 7,800, he is a great play. The other play I'll be looking at is Jarrett Allen, 5,600. Washington struggles inside. Allen was off to an amazing start versus the Magic, and then Magic just ran away at the game. Really it just got away from Brooklyn. So I'd really like going back to him at 5,600. The rest of that lineup, like with Chioza, with Tyler Johnson, Timothy Lewu Cabarro, or however the hell you say his name, TLC. These guys, I don't think you need them on this slate. If you want to go more contrarian, go for it. I think that's it. Joe Harris may be the other safer route to go, but the two, LeVert, Allen for me. Washington side of things, I really like these value. None of the players I like are over 5K, which is great on a state where you have some studs you want to pick for. Thomas Bryant is probably my favorite of all the guys. At 4,800, came in, played 34 minutes, dropped 28 DK versus Phoenix. Look, Jarrett Allen and the Nets, they just do not defend inside well at all. So I think for 4,800, he really stands out as a guy that could give you 35, 40 DK upside and still a 5X floor. Troy Brown Jr., I believe, I can't read him already, 4,500, 4,300. He was a guy that we were on, struggled with foul trouble, but still got off 11 shots in 27 minutes. I think you could actually move that minutes projection to 31, 32. So for that price, I think it's great. And he is a guy that has huge upside to fill the stat sheet. Jerome Robinson was one of my picks that I was heavy on. And I was just shocked to see him at 1.2% in the main million maker on, Friday. Played 32 minutes, dropped over 30 DK, has not seen his price jump at 4,200. Do not be scared that he is off the bench. He is still going to play a ton, get heavy usage, and a good play. Finally, and I think this might be a chalk play, but I really like it, is Ish Smith, 3,800, 27 minutes, 31 DK the first game. Guy that, is a big point per minute guy. Just here under 4K, just, what else do you want? Next game, Portland versus Boston. So Boston's a 4.5 point favorite, 231 total. I think this game is going to go overlooked. And it's a place that you really can come to if you want to be contrarian. Let's start on the Boston side of things. Tatum struggled mightily with the likes of Giannis, having to guard him on one side and having the freak on him on the other one. He is not going to see that type of defense in this game. So 8,200 with Kemba Walker limited, Tatum could really come in way under owned and still have huge upside. So I really like that play. Hayward did look really, really good. 7,100 dropped 37 DK points versus Milwaukee. And then, I think the likes of Brown and you can play, but I'm probably only looking at those two. Stay away from Kemba Walker, who's on a minutes limit. I just think on the slate that, at his price, I think it was 6,800, he's just not needed. On the Portland side of things, Dame Lillard, 9,500 won't be owned at all. He could see some Marcus Smart defense, which would annoy him, if nothing else. But again, if you want to kind of get off that top tier of like Harden, Westbrook, Giannis, Doncic, and pay down for Lillard, I think that's a great contrarian route to go. Nurkic looked absolutely amazing versus Memphis. Played 33 minutes, which was a surprise to me. I thought he would get kind of eased into it. Obviously, Portland's making this push, and he's going to be a huge part of it. Boston struggles inside, so Nurk with just a free reign, right? They did not hear about getting Hassan involved. He was purely a bench player, so 51 DK for Nurk. I think you can easily go back here. Again, won't be owned. And finally, obviously you can go to CJ McCollum, but I think the other play I would just really like from a value tier is Zach Collins. Just like Nurk, no minutes limit. Huge talented player down there. I did not write it right, but I think 3,200 or 3,400, like not expensive enough. So that should be one of the premier values on the slate for your squad. Going to Memphis versus San Antonio. Memphis is -4 favorite, 235 total. Starting out on Memphis, so Jonas Valanciunas just pretty much got benched. Only played 14 minutes. Brandon Clark and Jaren Jackson Jr. just were outstanding. And here's just kind of my fear, right? That was with Nurkic playing 33 minutes. So, it's a similar matches versus Pirtle. Obviously, Pirtle is less of a star than Nurkic is, but still the same profile player, big, tall guy. So I do worry about Valanciunas. Like if you want to just really be GPP, you can go there and you probably will see less than 10% ownership as well. Just that fear of those minutes are there. Better play obviously is to go like Ja Morant, 47 DK, took 22 shots. People in even our chat, he was in my FanDuel core. We were all kind of tilting first half. I think he finished with like 10 or 11. And then, pops off for 47 second half in overtime. So he's a stud. I don't worry about the matchup. We just saw De'Aaron Fox not worried about the matchup. We just had De'Aaron Fox have a massive game versus the likes of Murray and White. So I have no problem going back to Morant here. Jaren Jackson Jr. is still underpriced at 5,200, coming off a big game. And then Brandon Clark, very much underpriced at 4,200, 39 DK. Last game, he can definitely play center, and that's what we saw them do a lot with him and Jackson on the court. So, I don't think that they're like necessarily concerned that Pirtle will break him. So, if they feel better about Brandon Clark being on the floor than Jonas, that's where we're going to go back to. So I'm really interested in Brandon Clark. On San Antonio side of the ball, DeMar DeRozan looks stunning in game one. Here was the thing. Like, I looked down. I want to say it was like the third quarter. He only had taken like 3-4 shots. He only finished taking 13 shots, but playing a lot more on ball, facilitating, just doing a little bit of everything, playing kind of like the stretch four route. 47 DK in 38 minutes, only 7,600, and gets this pace uptick versus the Grizzlies, which I like a lot. Derek White was the star player for San Antonio game one. In 34 minutes, took 15 shots, just a massive game. 6,200. I doubt he'll go owned again. So yeah, I think that's a really good route to go. I prefer him over DeJounte Murray. Jakob Poeltl, I really don't know what DraftKings was doing here. After a solid game, they took it from 4,700 down to 4K. So, from a cash perspective, I think he's going to be massive chalk. I just like the play a lot. Only had 7 points, but still was well to value in that 4K. And he could give you 7-8x here. So that's kind of like Michael Porter Jr. yesterday. It's like, even if you want to be contrarian, does that really like benefit you to fade that big of a mistake that DraftKings makes? Probably not. Final really big mistake, and again, should probably be chalk, is Lonnie Walker. 3,500, played 32 minutes, 12 shots, killed value. He only went from 3,200 to 3,500 despite that. So, take advantage of DraftKings mistakes or DraftKings, we should say, generous pricing. Lonnie Walker in this pace up, I think, could have a huge game. Going to the next one, Orlando minus 2.5, 227 total. So this is our lowest total on the slate. I think it's good to start off with Sacramento. De'Aaron Fox dropped 54 DK, took 33 shots versus San Antonio. I'm still shocked to see that many shots from him. But 7,900 versus Magic, I think I'm a Magic fan, so maybe sometimes I don't always see it, but even Zach and I, talked a lot about playing guys versus the Magic is just tough because they just have so many good defenders, and Clifford has no problem slowing the game down either. So I think Fox is reserved for GPPs to me, but, I think has that huge upside, especially if he's going to command that type of usage. I just think it's not really the route I'm going to go. I'd much rather, personally at the price point, look at Bogdanovich at 5K. He took 15 shots in 32 minutes, hit over 30 yet again. He's just a really, really good player. I saw a lot more people on Healed. I had a lot of Bogdanovich, and it definitely worked out. On the Orlando side of things, really only two plays I'm going to be looking at is Nick Vucevic, 8,700. Sacramento's still playing without any sort of true center. Rashawn Holmes, has never really caught on anywhere in large part because of some struggles defensively. So, I think that's a play that you can go. And with all the value at center, again, I know I've been saying this like lower owned, but I really am trying to like focus on some guys that, maybe aren't going to be that popular for some of my GPP builds. I think Vucevic fits that bill as somebody that has 50 upside, draws a great matchup, and again, because, you have like Bryant, you have Allen, you have Pirtle, you have Nurkic, all these guys that, fill center roles. You only get two of them on DK, right? I really think you should, once again, be using two centers. You should use one of your utility. And I don't think people are going to be paying up to Vucevic with like our studs on the slate. So be lower owned. Finally, DJ Augustine, 4,200, I think is fine. I won't have him just because I've already mentioned so many cheap plays that I like more, but I think it's fine. You'll show up 2-3% Augustine. Here is the kind of the feature, the marquee game on the slate, not only for real basketball, but for DFS. Milwaukee and Houston. Milwaukee's a -4 favorite, 242 total. Kind of starts and ends with Giannis for me. I'll be locking him into as many lineups as I can. I know Covington's a good defender. Covington can't defend Giannis. And then, as you go by, there's no rim defense. Like PJ Tucker, nobody can defend the rim for Houston. So, we could just see a Giannis dunk fest in this game. He dropped 70 DK last game. I already mentioned with Bledsoe off the court, he does see a usage increase. Was averaging, I think, I didn't write it down, 65 DK. I had it the last time, and he hit that number versus Boston, which is a better defensive team than Houston and plays at a slower space. So, 80 is in play here. So at 11K and with all this value, I think I'm locking Giannis in. Chris Middleton's a good way to maybe, excuse me, apologies, to maybe get off a little bit of other chalk. I just don't think he'll be owned. So if you want to stack this game up, maybe try to do like Westbrook, Harden, Giannis, maybe even Middleton. I think you are an incredibly contrarian stack, but he does see a usage increase and is well over 40 points per game with Bledsoe off the floor. Final, just kind of like a low in play, Brook Lopez, 4,900, playing some big minutes. Again, he's going to get, 7-8 inches on PJ Tucker down low. So if they want to go in the post, just keep in mind, Brook Lopez is more of a stretch 5, but I don't think he's going to have any problem getting rebounds with that size disadvantage. On the Houston side of things, Harden and Westbrook look absolutely amazing. I got off a little Westbrook when the news came out that they're going to be like monitoring minutes, and then he played 44. So Mike D'Antoni, never very good at monitoring minutes. He likes to play his guys. So I think, in my opinion, if I'm going to play Harden or Westbrook, I think I kind of prefer Westbrook with the $1,300 discount to Harden, but I can't fault anybody for taking either. You don't need me to analyze this. They're both great plays. The one thing I will just mention from a value perspective, Daniel House played 43 minutes, right in that low 4K range. Without Eric Gordon, should see a big role yet again. Final game of the slate, Dallas -6 versus Phoenix, 237 total. So Luka gets to to play the team that passed him as the number 1 pick 2 years ago. Just gets to remind them what a terrible decision that was making. Even though DeAndre Ayton's a good player, Luka is going to be a generational talent. Triple-double versus Houston. Almost at a quadruple-double if you include turnovers. But, God, versus Phoenix here, he could absolutely go nuclear yet again. Zinger did go nuclear versus Houston, dropping 70 DK, 26 shots. Between the two of them, they took 53 shots. So this offense and Dallas's stretch run is going to all be about Luka and Zinger. And I think that both of them are great plays here. I talked about this with Vucevic and how center, people are going to gravitate towards that mid to low tier. Zinger won't be owned too, guys, at 9K. So if I'd probably even prefer that more to Vucevic. Porzingis will be a little higher on than Vucevic because of the name recognition. But, man, you are not going to see much ownership on him. And you want to talk about having a late-game hammer. Walk into the final slate, maybe being just below the cash line with Luka and Porzingis versus Phoenix, you could really be sweating a GPP. Also worth noting, I can't go back to it, but maybe it's a showdown play. Trey Burke, 30 minutes, 16 shots, was just on fire. He's going to get some run again. So, for showdown, I think that's an interesting way to go. Really command some usage when Luka's off the floor. For Phoenix, really main slate, I don't think I'll be on any of them. Ayton and Booker are fine. Cam Johnson started over Oubre. Nice young rookie. I think you can look there too, but I just think Phoenix maybe just showdown plays for me. Not so much on the main slate. If you are going to, I think Ayton works. At least he's power forward eligible. But 8,500, I think a little bit of the juice is out of him. I would try to find the extra 500 and go to Porzingis myself. Well, guys, that'll do it. Thank you so much for watching. Really hope that these videos are helping with the breakdown. If you do have any sort of questions, I do check mentions throughout the day. So you can find me on Twitter at GatorGuy231, or you can comment on our YouTube channel, and I will gladly answer there. Good luck today, and have a great Sunday. Peace.